this episode, I talked with Krsy Fox and Bonnie Aarons about their two new films, Frank and I Live Alone. You definitely don't want to miss this one. This was a really fun one. Really enjoyed this. And don't forget to subscribe and rate if you can, and follow me on my social network pages, which will be in the notes section of this podcast episode. It's much appreciated. And thanks, and hope you enjoy. All right. Well, thank you all for being on the podcast.
Thanks for having us.
How's everything going on this here Devil's Night?
Oh, you know, good, right, Bon Bon? Yeah, no, I'm excited for Halloween.
I like your wolf emblem. That is adorable.
Thank you. My friend Michael designed that for me. You know, did all the artwork. He does all my artwork for all my podcast stuff, and he does really killer shit.
Yeah, he does. I love it.
Yeah, I'm trying to using like the same kind of image I would use if I was doing like band stuff. So I want to keep it kind of like, with the werewolf stuff and kind of, edgy, more metal, I guess.
Yeah, totally. No, it's awesome.
Werewolves.
So y'all doing all right today?
Yeah. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Trying to keep my cats from jumping in this room because sometimes they like to bombard the door. So if you hear like some cat noises, I did what I could.
Well, right at the top of this, my cats were fighting, so don't feel bad. And we may have a 2-year-old crash it too, so we'll do our best, all of us.
Yeah, they love to wait till on podcasts and to start acting up, but that's cats for you.
Well, they want to be in the thick of things. As children, they just want to be in the thick of things. I don't blame them.
No, and they're spoiled, so they get their way. So y'all got some like killer new films coming out. You want to go and talk about that?
Yeah. No, thank you. We just had our film Frank come out October 25th, so this past Monday. And Bonnie is one of the stars of it. I wrote, directed it. I also star in it. And it's based around this girl named Ruby who has this abusive boyfriend who basically one night comes home all messed up on drugs and is going to kill her. So she starts praying. She's not religious, but she's trying to, get help out of this situation. And her prayers are answered by this towering demon monster named Frank. Mm-hmm. And ultimately, she has to pledge a lifetime of servitude to him to get out of this scenario. And she can't handle how dark it gets. And she ends up taking her own life. And Frank gets angry and decides to take bloody revenge on all the people that she cares about in her life. Ultimately ending in the big finale with Bonnie, who's a medium who can channel all of these stories, and she's kind of all seeing, and she's in the big crazy ending of the movie, and also she narrates throughout. So that was a really, really great and fun monster film to shoot. And our second film is called I Live Alone, which also stars Bonnie, which is a little different of a film. Bonnie plays Aunt Len, who's this paranoid, reclusive woman who has lived alone for 40 years, and her 16-year-old niece, Parker, has to come stay with her because her mother gets ill. And once Parker comes, she starts to suspect that there's something off about her aunt, and neighbors start going missing. There's weird sounds coming from the basement, and Parker starts to believe that she's a serial killer. And that film is really cool and fun to shoot because we really utilized some brutal gore, and just the pacing of that film is really cool. And Bonnie does an absolutely amazing job in both films. So.
Thank you. Well, you're an amazing writer, director, storyteller. That's what
Bonnie
does it all herself. So to talk I want to go back to Frank.
Yes.
For all your viewers, Brandon, this is, if y'all want to meet the cool new monster in town, Krsy created a brand new monster that is fabulous. I mean, this Frank is the new monster in town, and it is sure to thrill you. All the other actors she has are incredible. She has Azure Parsons in there, Adam Bosch, Lindsay LaRoe, and just incredible people. And it's the way she wrote it is it's not like your average anthology, because everything becomes down connected at the very end at the last scene, and it's really beautifully done.
Thank you.
and everyone that sees it goes wild over it.
It's been really great to see people respond to it because yeah, it is a different type of horror film. I approached it in a way that I wrote it as something that I would want to see, and there's a lot of character development in it. There's comedy within it. There's heart within it. You really get to know the characters and their stories and care about them. So when the scares do happen, I feel like the stakes are higher and you feel more, which is that's often what happens in my favorite types of movies, when there's like you're really attached to a character and it's not just like killing everybody and you don't really care if they die, So,
Right. Yeah.
And these characters in Frank, the lead characters are women, and they're all very different women, and so it's very much like a study of of women. It's really original, and I think everybody who sees it enjoys it because there's something in there. Because it's actually, I would say it's a horror comedy. There's so much comedy in the middle of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's absolutely enjoyable. It is playing, by the way. It's on iTunes and Amazon Prime, or wherever you stream stuff. You can find Frank.
Yes, yeah, Google Play as well, Vudu, YouTube movies. Yeah, it's pretty much anywhere. But yes, please, if you do watch it, make sure to rate it and leave a comment. And we hope everybody, enjoys it. It was such a fun shoot to do. So
it sounds killer, and we need more monster movies. That's something we're lacking, especially in the newer stuff. There's not a lot of monster movies like we used to have,
Oh,
totally.
Incredible. It's brilliant.
Thank you, Bunny.
He's a beautiful monster.
Bonnie wants to date Frank. That would be a very interesting couple right there.
You
could do a Nun and Frank mashup.
I'm so down to do that.
I think Frank's perfect match is Gabriel from James Wan's movie
Malignant.
I mean, that movie? Have you seen that movie, Brandon? It's so beautiful. Oh my God.
It was wild. I saw when it came out I streamed on HBO Max, and that was a wild ride.
Oh man, was it great? It's so if you look at how Gabriel is, it's wild. Like Frank's the complete opposite looking. Mm-hmm. And yeah, they'd make a stunning couple.
I'm down for that. It's like a monster mash of movies.
The reality of it.
Were all the effects and stuff in Frank all practical? Did you try to rely more on the practical creature effects and all that stuff, or?
Yes, yeah. So I'm a gigantic fan of practical effects. That's always my go-to, no matter what the budget. I just really love anything you can do practically. So we actually created the monster physically on the person every time we made it too. It wasn't like a suit. Like he is physically made, which was really cool and a very long process, but it made it look so much better, I think. But yeah, we did some really cool practical effects. Like Frank has these ribs that are kind of on the outside of his body, and he opens them up and consumes people that way. So we actually showed that in one scene, which was a really crazy shot because we really only had one chance at it. So we're very happy that worked out. And we did, some throat slitting and some really fun stuff like that. A lot of when we use blood, we really use blood, and same goes with I Live Alone practical effects. That was a big part of that film, and the gore, and we used some real meat and some stabbing scenes, and
nice.
It's just really disgusting and fun to watch.
That sounds great.
You'll enjoy them both. I Live Alone is a fast, fun, in your face ride, and it touches on a lot of things that are happening, and it's very now.
Mm-hmm. Is that streaming on anywhere yet? I Live Alone, is that streaming or?
No, it comes out on December 21st. Okay. But we actually just made an announcement that it will be premiering at LA Comic-Con this the dates between December 3rd and 5th. So if you're going to LA Comic Con or if you're in the area, you can come see I Live Alone first and, be a part of the panel with the cast and crew and also meet everybody. And it'll be a really fun day.
Yeah, and we're taking selfies as well, all of us.
Nice.
So, yeah, we'd love to meet you and know what you think.
Yeah.
Oh man, I would love to go to California. It's been a couple years since I've been out there, and I'm in South Carolina on the opposite coast or whatever. But been to California a few times. It's awesome out there. But yeah.
It must be cold right now, or is it okay? How's the weather?
It's nice. I like it a little bit colder because I'm a big hairy guy, so it's better for the cold for me,
The wolf all comes full circle now. Okay.
Yeah. And I don't know if I have any Viking blood. I'm mostly Scottish, I guess, because everybody's a Viking nowadays, whatever. But I like the cold weather. So right now it feels really good. It's like 70 degrees, maybe 65.
Oh, that's actually perfect.
That is, yeah, I love it. 65, 60, 65, even 55 is my favorite.
Yeah, y'all got nice weather too. You don't have all the humidity like we have here. Like it's not like you're walking out into a jungle,
Yeah, no, the humidity is not good for like my hair or anything. I'm not but I do love going out that way. But yeah, LA has been hot this year, like really hot.
Yeah, it's very dry. We're in a desert.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. And we're kind of in marshland over here. That's cool. Well, how'd y'all get your starts? I mean, you can take turns going, but how did y'all get your start in the acting world?
Well, Bonnie, you want to go first?
Yeah, I've been involved in it for a long, long time. So, since I was very young, and I've been in California working on this since 1990. I came here from New York. In New York, I was in New York for like 11 years. I moved there in 1978. Wait, 60, 70, 78. I moved to New York City to pursue my acting career. And then, a friend of mine who actually has passed away now, J.T. Walsh, a phenomenal character actor, he said to me, I think before anything you give up and whatever, you're not, just come here to California and give it a go. And so I moved here and just been at it, and I'm still at it. It was a great thing, eventually getting on that audition for the Conjuring 2 and booking The Nun. That was a huge highlight. But I did a lot of comedy before the horror. To me, comedy, horror, it's the same. It's the same thing. It's the same. So, and commercials and music videos, and I did stuff where I'm sure all your young ladies and stuff remember Princess Diaries and Shallow Hal and a bunch of comedies like that. And then I booked The Nun, so I've been getting the horror, which is great. It's so much fun, and I love filming that character, doing the nun, playing that role. It's just incredible.
It's iconic, that's for sure.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely
iconic.
Yeah, no, Bonnie's killing it for women in horror for sure. And for me, I started as an actor as a kid. I'm Canadian, so I grew up on Vancouver Island. I moved to Vancouver when I was really young, and I started acting up there, and I got really into music too. So I ended up moving down to LA, and I was a professional songwriter and in a band for a long time. And then I would make my own music videos, and I'd make these like theatrical films around the music and stuff. And so I decided in 2020 to finally, I'd written a bunch of scripts and I was like, you know what, I'm just going to go for it. This is right before COVID got crazy, and I'm going to shoot my first real short film. And I did, and I put it in a bunch of festivals, and it did extremely well. And it kind of blew my mind because, you can't really have expectation if it's the first time you've done it. So
it's a terrific film.
Thank you. And so
it's phenomenal.
Thank you. And so it was called What the Spell, and it did, I mean, it's still actually going through some of the festivals, and then COVID got really crazy, and I had this script for Frank, and it was mostly fleshed out, and I knew I really wanted to go after a feature. And I really like the process of making short films because I find them to be very challenging. You have to get to a twist and a point very quickly and grab people. And I was like, it'd be cool to incorporate that into a film, but not have it be a classic anthology that's, disconnected, but more of a really connected. Stories overlap, characters overlap. It's all around this one monster and based on this one girl, who takes her own life. And I wanted to touch on, the ripple effect of suicide and seeing her go through the struggle she went through, but then also seeing all the people who loved her go through the struggles as well. And it have this deeper underlying meaning. So when I realized COVID wasn't going away, I looked into it. I dealt with SAG. I got all these incredible actors, and I was like, you know what? We're going to shoot this film, but we're going to do it in pieces, and we're just going to see how it goes. We're going to do it with a skeleton crew, and we're going to be super safe, testing and doing all the things you're supposed to do. And we ended up getting through the entire film, and we finished it. And it wasn't long after that we started getting hit up for distribution, and we ended up signing with Alameda Entertainment, and the film came out this October 25th. So it was kind of blew my mind. So I was like, okay, well, after I did that, I wanted to do something else with Bonnie because I really liked working with Bonnie. And as you can tell, she's a very interesting character anyway. So.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm sitting here thinking, I moved here when, 1989? I think it was 88. Was it, yeah, 89 or 90? Yeah. Like, oh, wait a minute, I've been here a long time, been around a long time, people.
Yes.
Thanks.
So,
I'm glad you enjoy working with me. I love.
Well, I'm never gonna do it again after this. Absolutely.
Oh,
Yes. No, it's great. No, she's fantastic. So I wrote this. I had this idea for a short, and I told her about it, and she was like, "I like it. Let's do it." So I wrote it. We shot it, and it ended up being a really long form short, and it ended up. Like, people really loved it. We did put it in a few festivals, and we didn't go crazy with the submissions. We were just, and I was like, you know what? Like, I think this is a feature, and I think we can just complete this and have this be another feature very quickly.
We won
So
some
that's
awards for the short, by the way.
Yeah, we did, and it was very exciting and great to see because it was a very different film than Frank. They're both very different. So yeah, we expanded it into a full length feature. So after we finished Frank, pretty much, and we finished I Live Alone, and we got distribution through Gravitas Ventures, and so now that one's coming out next. And I also have a production company with Writer One, who I know you interviewed not that long ago, called One Fox Productions. So we actually have a third film that he directed and I produced and star in called Allegoria that's coming out next year as well. So it's been really great.
I saw Allegoria. It's fantastic. It's cool.
Thank you.
Nice. Y'all were busy as hell.
Yeah, it's been crazy. And then, on top of it, Vaughn, we do this really cool podcast as well called BleedersDiegest that's on the Bloody Disgusting Podcast Network that's all original scary stories, which is the perfect time of year, to have that out. But and Bonnie's guested on a few. She just guested on the most recent one. And if people want to check out some really fully immersive scary stories, check out Bleeders Digest, DIE.
Good.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I've been sharing that around for y'all on Twitter and Instagram and everything, because when I was talking with Spider, we were going over his new podcast and everything like that. So it's definitely killer. Highly recommend it.
Oh, thank you so much.
It is something, that podcast. It's so well done. It's like when you're hearing, you hear, everyone reading these stories. It's like you're seeing it happen in front of your face. That's how well done it is.
Oh, thank you, Bonnie.
I love narrative stories like that, like especially with podcasts. It kind of takes you out of the norm. So you're at work, having a shitty day, throw on one of those killer podcasts there, and it kind of just takes you away,
Totally. Yeah. No, it's been a really fun thing to do, and there's a lot of inspiration just touring for so many years and stuff. Like the scenarios you're put in, there's a lot to draw from to write stories about. And I actually wrote this story recently that came out throughout the Halloween season called The Thing in the Road, which guest stars Katie Cassidy. And it's totally based on one night driving on tour. And I made it about these two sisters, but a lot of the experiences were real. And it's a fun, scary listen.
Incredible. The one I did, the Alone one I did, Spider Woman, is really disgusting. That's
Spider
really,
Lady.
that's really, oh, Spider Lady, that's so,
Yes.
How many episodes are up so far?
We just released our 21st. We actually have the 22nd one comes out this Thursday, and that one has Bill Moseley as the guest.
Oh,
So,
killing.
Yeah, we're really excited. The last one we just had was Chaz Bono, Bonnie, Radic Lord, Nalling Morena. We tried to do through the Halloween season. We had like special guests on almost every single episode. So yeah, I think we're really excited about the one with Bill, and we have some more coming up that are going to be really cool. So
Bill's cool.
Yeah, Bill, very cool.
Yeah, I've emailed back and forth him a few times, and yeah, he's definitely a cool dude. He lives up to what I thought Bill would be, you know.
Oh yeah, he's this total sweetheart. He's so awesome.
You were mentioning that you a lot of these stories you draw influence from being on the road and stuff. I also have some crazy ass stories from being on the road. I was in a band for like 16 years.
I bet.
And the horror stories you can make from that shit. Oh my god.
Yeah, it sounds like you're making it up, but it's real. The scenarios you're put in are pretty insane, especially those late night drives in those weird little small towns, right?
Oh man, I got a crazy one for you. I just give you one really weird one that happened
please.
to us. It was like we're not doing the band stuff anymore, so it's all dissolved or whatever. But this was like our last U.S. tour. We were driving through, trying to get up to New York, I believe, and we had to go through New Jersey, and we haven't had a shower in like a week, so we go to a truck stop shower like we usually do. You know, we need to get a shower. So, you know, we get there. It's a decent looking truck stop. Everything's cool. They're the best usually. A nice high pressure shower and stuff. So we get up I'm in the shower stall, like about to start the shower and everything. And I start to smell like almost like maybe a dead animal type smell. I'm like, oh, that's fucking weird. Whatever. So keep going about my business. Then about 2 minutes later, 3 minutes later, this gunk starts coming out the drains in the shower. Luckily, I haven't started showering yet, but all the sewage was backing up in every one of the fucking showers I had there. It was covering up the floor. I had to jump on top of on the I guess you would call right where the mirror was at by the sink. I jumped on top of there, grabbed my clothes, and jumped out through the door. But it was like 2 or 3 inches of like sewage, raw sewage on the ground. This is
a horror story.
Yeah. I was like, is this fucking real? I'm like, what the fuck?
That's disgusting.
One of Krissy's friends told me a band traveling. I'm like, oh, the band life would not have been for me, let me tell you. He was telling me this disgusting thing, and I'm like, you guys are disgusting. This is just what?
You got to do what you got to do. I have a pretty crazy, scary, like nighttime driving story. We were my band, I don't even know if I mentioned, we're called Krsy Fox, and we were on tour, and we were driving in the middle of nowhere, Texas, on our way to Corpus Christi, and there was just nothing forever, and it was like pitch black, single lane on the road we were driving on, and I was like, it's so dark, and it was getting so foggy, and my bass player was driving, and I was in the back bench, and everyone else was asleep, and I was like, put on the high beams. I can't see anything. And he literally flicks on the high beams, and there's a man in the middle of the road running full speed at us, trying to die. And so we swerve, we almost crash, and we're like screaming. And then the guy's waiting, trying to make us stop. And I'm like, we looked, there was no cars or anything. We felt like he was trying to get us to stop because like it was some sort of like crazy robbery attack thing. I don't know. It was the scariest thing ever. And you know, it was truly the middle of the night, like 3 a.m. So that was pretty scary.
It's amazing you had the intuition to tell him at that time to turn on the lights.
Well, it's very, very dark when you're in the middle of nowhere. It's truly like pitch black. So it was really hard to see, and it's really scary. And I'm always afraid of deer, but I did not expect there to be a man in the middle of the road.
Wow. You know, Does your traveling stories do make for great horror stories?
Well, there's a later part to that story too, which was pretty crazy. So we kept driving, and we were gonna try to go through the night, but we were all way too tired. So we were like, we have to stop. There was only like this one motel. We couldn't find anything, and it seemed like when we first pulled in, we're like, okay, maybe. So we're like, whatever. We're gonna sleep for like 3 or 4 hours. Let's just get a couple rooms and just go to bed. So we go in, and we're like out of it. We get our key cards, and it's like motel style. So all the rooms face out, and like it just felt off. And then I looked out in the parking lot, and the entire parking lot was just full of white vans. That's it.
Oh,
There's
shit.
no other regular cars.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
And then the next morning we get up, and we like go into the lobby and open the door to check out, and we realize like there's swastikas carved into all the doorways on the inside. We didn't see it the night before. I'm like, this is like some weird, like
Fuck.
scary shit. Yeah. We truly didn't even know what town we were in. Like that happens a lot when you're on tour. You're like, where are we? What state are we in? So yeah, that was a pretty weird night. And yeah, I mean, there's plenty of others, but we only have an hour, so.
I'll tell you two something. If it involves risking getting covered in shit, I'm out.
Oh, come on, Bonnie.
Am
Live
I-
a little.
Yeah, I can live without that experience.
We played a great show though after that, so that was something.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. It's all worth it when the show's good. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You smell terrible, but hey, whatever. The show was good.
Yeah, the show's great.
After that, you ran out of there. Then where was the water for you to rinse off and wash yourself after that?
We had to go to a different truck stop. I didn't get none of this shit actually on me. I probably got some of my shoes because once it started coming out, I already jumped on the counter and I was off, out of there. But it got on my shoes, but it didn't get on everything else. Luckily, I was real careful with that.
That's something to be afraid of.
It was very, very weird. Like this shit only happens in movies, but no.
No, it really happens. It's like the full Spinal Tap craziness that people don't think is really real, but it is. It's very real.
We played a bar in somewhere in North Carolina, out in the middle of nowhere in North Carolina and stuff. And when we got there, I noticed there was like blood splatter on the ceiling. I was like, oh, that's weird. Like, what kind of moshing and shit are they doing in here? So we started playing our show there. We ended up cutting their power because our amps pulled too much voltage for what they had there. So the lights kept going on and off. So that's never a good sign. So playing our show, we got off our stage and everything. And one of the people out in the crowd like made a comment saying something about us having a girl in the band or some shit like that. Making real shitty comment. This big redneck dude. So our drummer told him to go fuck himself. So we're sitting around watching other bands and we notice the guy's on the phone calling his buddies. So like 30 minutes later, there's like 20 rednecks coming up in this place. So we had to make a fucking escape. There's only 3 of us. So it's not gonna happen. So that was fucking explains why there's blood on the ceiling in this place and bad shit goes down at this fucking place. So we got the fuck out of there.
Yeah, there's some very sketchy places. I remember being really freaked out, and we played a show with Marilyn Manson in Birmingham. And we got protested a lot when we did those by religious groups, and they're not usually a huge fan, like the Bible Belt type people are not, and like of you being in their town, that group, and they'll like hassle like the fans in line and everything. It's pretty crazy. So like we finished the show and we're driving back, and our merch guy was driving us to the hotel, and obviously he hadn't drank or anything, and the 2 police cars just started following us the whole way. And then we went to like park the car, and they like blocked us in, and the police officer got out, and he's just got in our face, like wouldn't let us out of the car. And he's like, you're drunk. You got drugs in there. We're like, no, we really don't. And he has not been drinking. So you can do, but they're like, we're going to get you. We'll be getting you tonight. And we just started getting threatened by the police there. And I was like, whoa, I think like we pissed off like a group of, I guess maybe religious police officers or something. And we were like, this is scary, because we're like, what's going to happen? Like, yeah, they like fully blocked us in, and we couldn't like drive away. We couldn't get out of the car. I was just like, okay, this is weird. Yeah, that was kind of scary.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, the Bible Belt can be a very scary place because I'm part of the Bible Belt here in South Carolina. Like it stretches all the way to Alabama, down to Georgia, fucking Mississippi, all that shit. I guess considered a
Hmm.
Bible Belt, and some crazy religious people, man. It's nuts. A church every 2 miles. There's a church, maybe less.
Yeah, no, it's a very and which is great, but like yeah, you if you're touring with the wrong group or something for them, it can be kind of like scary. You're like, whoa, you piss off. You're like half the town is beyond excited, and then the other half is like wants to kill you. So it's pretty intense.
That would also make another great horror story.
Yeah, I know for real. Well, one day we'll sit down and we'll talk about all of our stories.
A lot of religion, very religious groups, they really enjoy horror. So, I mean,
Oh,
I'm
absolutely.
North Carolina. I've been to South Carolina actually, several times. We filmed Shallow Hal there. I was there for a while. It was just years ago. I never had a problem, and I thought the people were lovely. And then I've been to conventions there in the past, and the people were lovely. I mean, even the people were, they love it.
100%. I think that a character like yours, obviously, I'm sure a lot of
It's religious.
religious groups could be offended by it, but then I think at the same time it's also the thing they're most afraid of, right? Evil entities, and it's something you kind of learn about. So, a lot of people can't watch something like The Exorcist. That's like just scares them to death because they have faith, and that's like a struggle
Faith
for them.
wins over. The faith wins over.
Yeah.
Like in the Conjuring series, there's no guns. There aren't any. What they use is a cross to protect themselves, and holy water and blessings and stuff. There is no
Mhm.
there's not these big violent slayings and blood fests.
There's something that really scary though about the nun. I will say, like I've told Bonnie this story. I've told the story a few times. Like it doesn't. It. I mean, yeah, and well, I mean, you're
I'm
real.
pretty scary. I'm a pretty scary person.
Well, yeah, like that's the thing. Like Bonnie sent me one day just out of nowhere a bunch of text messages with like photos of her as the nun, like behind the scenes, like with James Wan, and then like them doing her makeup and just like a few things she had on her phone. She's like, check these out. And and I truly went to bed that night and I had the most insanely fucked up nightmares about Bonnie, like to the point I woke up like almost in a scream, and I couldn't like see her for a week. I was just like, this is so scary, and I'm like, that's fucked up because Bonnie is the sweetest woman, but yeah, something about the image of the nun is so scary.
I'm here full of glee, laughing to myself.
Like, so her favorite.
I love it. It's fun. But I think most people are scared of it because a nun is a real person. It's a real entity. And I didn't have special effects makeup on me. It was just the makeup was so strategically applied by Eleanor Capitacoya, who does pretty much all of James Wan's stuff. She does the Annabelle and everything else. And it was just beautifully applied to my face. It's just Maybelline on my eyes. I mean, it's just done hand painted every moment. There's this thing. The only thing on my face is these thin, like wafer, even thinner than a wafer, to hold my eyebrows down, and that's it. But I think it's a real person, and you can see there's a heart there behind the monster, and
Yeah.
people are afraid of these religious characters. Well, religious people, because they feel that they're in control because they're holier, they're closer to God.
Mm-hmm.
They are. So, I've heard thousands of stories of people telling me over and over again about their Catholic school, situations, and they're frightening. But some of the nuns, some people are bad people. The nuns and the priests are bad because they hold over you that they're better than they are, and you can be cursed by them because to God.
Well, I don't think Valak is close to God at all. So I'm just saying.
Beware, Valak's the holy. You'll see. Valak's the holy one.
And Belix is my kind of nun, you know.
Me too. Other than that one night.
It's an incredible character James Wan came up with. I'm glad I could shoes. I'm very honored to fill those shoes for him. Yeah, it's an incredible image.
Bonnie, I'll tell you what that scares me the most that you've been in. Like, it's a short scene, but it's from Mulholland Drive. Holy shit.
Yeah, Mulholland Drive. Now, that's a boatload of makeup. That makeup in Mulholland Drive, I kid you, it must have been 18 hours. I'm not joking.
You just look like you were at that truck stop in that shower.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shit. Let me tell you, I'm still wearing some of that stuff in my hair. David Lynch had the makeup artist put on pieces of real moss on my face, piece by piece. I mean, we're talking piece by, with a tweezer. And then in my hair, I mean, it's oatmeal and steel wool and just stuff, and then more and more and more and more. And then, you know, the clothes are just covered in filth and, you know, dirt and beaten up. But the makeup was, so I guess that's practical effects then. You know?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Talking
I think that's why, once again, it's so effective, why the nun is and why, you know, the Mulholland Drive character is because it's a real person. It's not CGI, and it's more intimidating.
Yeah, I'm lucky I was born with such a face, right? Thank you. Oh, thank you, universe.
Yeah, I just love that scene, and I've heard people say that's one of the scariest scenes in any horror movie or any movie, because Mulholland Drive is kind of like borderline horror. I consider it a horror movie, but you know, so that's one of the scariest scenes ever, and I totally agree.
Yeah, it's an incredible, and David Lynch is just wow. And you know, funny story is, so I'm a huge fan of James Wan, huge fan. So when I got the audition for The Conjuring 2, it literally said you're going out for an untitled James Wan film, and it was a reshoot. I had no idea it was for The Conjuring 2, but I was like, oh my God, James Wan, and they didn't tell you anything. They just said wear black, and you know, you just go in there and scare them. I'm like, here's my big fucking chance, man. Nothing's gonna get in my way. And I'm such a fan of his. I knew that his favorite thing was David Lynch, and I knew how much he loved Mulholland Drive. So when I went into the callback, which was me and two guys, they said, you're going to go to the callback and you make me just wear something long and black. And the makeup artist, and you're going to work with the director. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to work with James Wan. Holy fucking A. Oh my God, it's like the highlight of my life. Nothing's going to get in my way. So on my phone, I had ready a photograph of David Lynch and I on the set of Mulholland Drive, you know, where I'm sitting there with the box. And so when James Wan walked into the room, all I did was take my phone. Look, I'm the bum from Mulholland Drive. I shoved it in his face, and he just stood there. Oh, I wouldn't suggest doing that to any other, you know, for other actors to do something like that. You know,
that stuff works for Bonnie, though. It's almost like the bigger, the better.
Yeah, well, you know, you get to be a certain age, certain time. You've been in this for so long. You're like, okay, let's take a few risks, not too big, but a few. And it's sort of like something that, you know, you just go ahead. There was nothing in me that said, oh my God, don't do this. I was like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get this job, and I don't give a fuck. I am getting it. I wouldn't even leave until they told me I had it. Suggest that to any other actor out there. I do not suggest that.
It worked out great for you, that's for sure. Like, yeah, for Halloween every year, there's like 1,000 fucking nuns, you know what I mean, just because of you, and that's pretty fucking killer.
Yeah, the nuns are running about.
Tomorrow night.
Oh yes, they'll be about.
Yeah, then there's probably gonna be nuns knocking on the door and shit too, you know.
Yeah. It's like
one year Bonnie and I are totally gonna go out as like and dress her as the nun and just like go scare the crap out of people when they answer the door. It'd be so fun.
Oh, that would be killer.
Just like ruin their night.
I got my own private cottage out there.
Oh my God, but how funny would that be to watch later?
That would be great. Yeah, you definitely have to film that and like put it on YouTube.
I'll tell you that movie was so much fun to film with Corin Hardy. He's phenomenal. He would call, like, I would come on to set. Now he would do this. Nobody else laughed but me. I think he said it because he knew I would be laughing. And he'd go, "There's my nunny. There's my nunny." And it was so funny. The whole thing was great. What a great experience. Hopefully we'll be done too soon.
Yes.
Oh,
well,
yeah,
you know,
cool.
I'm hoping next year there's going to be a lot of pranks for Halloween. I think that'd be pretty awesome.
Frank would make a great doll. Have you seen this yet, Brandon? You got to watch it.
I have not. No, I'm behind. I have not. But once I do watch it, I review it on my website because I also run a horror website where I do like reviews and like old reviews and shit like that and recommendations. So I definitely would check it out and and review it for y'all.
That'd be amazing. Thank you.
Yep, it's horrorwolf666.com. Everything is horrorwolf.
And also, if you're going to make it out to California, you should come when we have the premiere at the Los Angeles Comic Con, LA Comic Con in December 3rd through the 5th.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I Live Alone.
Yes, that's gonna be a fun time. I'm excited.
Yeah.
It's gonna be killer. If y'all had to like rank your like top 5 favorite horror movies of all time, what would be in your list?
Oh, that's a hard one. Well, I mean, I can at least, let me see. I first went original Texas Chainsaw Massacre for sure.
Nice.
So gosh, this it's so hard. The Craft, even though I know it's like borderline horror, The Craft is really up there for me. It was super impactful.
Oh, it's definitely horror, yeah.
Yeah. And then I would say The Strangers.
Nice.
I love that film. Don't want to like make a mistake and forget something that's really important.
I don't think there are any mistakes because you can list go on and on and on and on and on.
Oh, well, The Shining. The Shining's definitely in there. And then I'm just trying to think like what are the films like I'll go back to over and over and over again. And honestly, I have to say the original Halloween because it just kind of it created so many other films. It inspired so many other films. And I think like without that amazing film, we wouldn't have so many other films that we all love. So,
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, Halloween is one of the best. I'm going to be watching that tomorrow. I watch it every year on Halloween, the first Halloween on Halloween.
Oh, yeah, you have to. It's just, I just actually showed my 2-year-old because she loves monsters and horror and she was like really into it. She loved it. So I'm very excited.
You converted a new horror head now.
Well, we have a life-size Frank in our living room right now. And once you see the film, you'll realize that it's really terrifying. And she loves him. She like hugs. We come home. She's like, "Hi, Frank." And she's like, and she makes you say goodbye to him. And if anyone stops by, they have to come say hello to Frank. Like it's out of courtesy and respect. So it's just like a thing. And so it's pretty funny.
That's awesome.
What about you, Bonnie? What are your top 5?
Well, this is just too difficult of a question, but I love anything Guillermo. I love Devil's Backbone,
Mm-hmm.
Night of the Living Dead. I love that new film Censor that just recently came out.
Yeah, Censor's killer.
Nosferatu the Vampire. I love that. I can watch that so many, over and over again. And Hocus Pocus, I can nonstop watch Hocus Pocus.
That's a great movie.
Yeah, definitely.
I love a good horror comedy. It's just the list can go on and on and on, but those are some of my top ones that I can keep watching. Oh, and I love what I always like to watch on Halloween is Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. I love that.
Oh, that's a good one. Oh, I forgot Scream too. Like because of my age, Scream was like very impactful to me. Because I was actually at an age young enough where it was actually really scary too. So I just like I have this script for Scream and I read it sometimes I think it's just like such a well done film because of the level of comedy and twist and character development, and it was kind of helped shape me as a filmmaker. So definitely have to give that one.
Yeah, Scream's killer. Like that came out when I was a teenager and stuff. I think maybe like 15 or so. It was like Scream, I Know What You Did Last Summer, all those type films and everything. But Scream was always like above all of that,
Have you guys watched that new I Know What You Did Last Summer? It's incredible on what is it, on Amazon?
I've started it. I've started watching it.
it's very good.
There's so many good things out right now. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, these past few years for horror alone, whether it's series or like, I loved like The Lodge. I love The Dark and the Wicked. I love Spontaneous. There's like a bunch of like really, really great movies that I'll go back to forever.
That was great.
Which one?
A New Cherry Flavor. That was great.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
So many great films. I think they should include these into some more bigger awards.
The New Cherry Flavor was from the creators of Channel Zero. Did y'all ever watch that?
Oh yeah. Whoa.
Yeah. One of the best shows fucking ever.
That's really good.
The thing about Bonnie too is like you ask her if she's seen something, she sees everything. So it's kind of great because she's like, hey, I found this weird little obscure like romantic comedy that no one's seen. She's like, oh yeah, I watched that. And just like, I don't know how she does it, but she sees everything. So
I don't go out much. No.
Well, especially now these days, right?
But always, I just I don't know, I enjoy watching.
Bonnie actually made my daughter fall in love with Beetlejuice. She bought her little Beetlejuice doll, and Bonnie, I just showed her the actual movie, and she was like freaking out because of it. Yes. Did
you love it?
Yes, she did, and she was like, we went to a Halloween store a few days before, and there was like a life-size Beetlejuice, and it talked, and she was just screaming Beetlejuice. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna show her, and it's like it's all came from Bonnie. So
I love Beetlejuice.
Not to mention,
it's one of my favorite movies.
Mine too. I love it. Now I can watch that over and over again. Man, they're supposed to be doing another one. I want to get in on that.
Yeah, you should play Beetlejuice, Bonnie.
That would be fun.
That would be crazy.
Yeah.
My God, yeah. I can do Beetlejuice. So crazy. I love it.
Well, you'll give my daughter loves like Bonnie so much. Like Bonnie's one of her best friends. She has like the scary nun doll that like she can change the faces, so she's like screaming and stuff like that, and she like tucks her into bed in her dollhouse at night. She's like, I love you, Bonnie, good night. And just like it's so weird, and the other kids are like, what is that? And just like it's her Bonnie, and she just like carries it around, and I don't know if that's like a bad thing. But yeah,
she's not afraid of anything because her parents aren't afraid. I really think that children see things and they're they get afraid if their parents are afraid or the people around them are afraid. I have a good example of that. After The Conjuring 2 came out, I was at a friend's house and she had grandchildren there, and her daughter had a friend there that brought her children, and I was showing a picture of myself as the nun to one of her grandchildren. And I said, isn't this great? Look at this. He goes, ooh, yeah. And I go, what do you think? Beautiful? He's going, yeah, so pretty. Yeah, ooh. And then one of our other friends waltzes in the middle of this. Don't you show the children that. They're going to be really scared. I'm like, the kid's not scared. So then I show it to the other kids there. They're all scared because you said that. I'm like, now you made the kids afraid.
It's true. It's like if they're like my daughter's perspective is just she's around and we're like making these monsters and stuff. So she's not, the only thing she's afraid of is the robot vacuum, which is makes sense. So it is true. It's like if you don't make it scary, it's not scary. They kind of follow your lead, and I guess for her the nun is not scary. The nun is her special friend. So that's nice.
She thinks that's beautiful.
Yes, she does.
That's killer to start the kids off early with horror. I mean, that's how I was raised. Like my grandma had me watching Hellraiser when I was like 4 or 5 years old. Before that, I was watching the Freddy Krueger series he had on. Can't remember the name of that, but there's like a TV series that Freddy Krueger did, and I remember watching that when I was like 4. As as far back as I can remember, I was raised on horror. But I still feared Chucky till I was like 14 years old, probably. So I had my buddy doll at the house, and I swear that shit came alive one night and walked out of my closet.
Oh my God. Maybe it did.
I swear it did. Like I buried him under a whole bunch of clothes in the closet, like where he couldn't get out. And I swear he came out of that closet and walked across the floor. I'm like, yep, I'm good. So I had to get rid of that.
Well, I don't know if you know this about Chucky, but he does always come back. So I don't know if you actually did get rid of him. You have to.
Cute. I love
Speaking
that
of,
little Chucky doll.
I know you have to go to my Instagram and watch my daughter with Chucky. She has a Chucky doll that she plays with, and she did this pretty dramatic thing where she's putting him to bed and she's going, "Oh no, Chucky's dead." I don't know what. It was really weird, but she loves it.
When I showed her Jacob's wife, she thought it was great. She
Yeah,
went,
no, she did.
when I showed her a picture of me as the vampire and Jacob's wife, she started hugging my phone, grabbing it, and she wanted it. She wanted it. She loved it so much. Did you
It's
see
the new
that?
generation.
See that?
Oh yeah, I've seen Jacob's Wife. Yeah, it was killer. I did a review on that. It's on my website too.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah, I did a review of that one. I loved it.
Yeah, no, that movie was incredible. Bonnie was she did such a beautiful job with the character, and Barbara Crampton was incredible too. And yeah, I loved that film too.
Oh my God, that's an incredible cast. That's a great film.
Mm-hmm.
It's not what you expect either. Like going into, you think it'd be your typical vampire film, but it's way more than that. You know, super deep. It's really good.
Women empowerment.
Oh, and speaking of, another character from Jacob's Wife, Mark Kelly, is in I Live Alone as well.
Right.
So him and Bonnie get to face off again, which is fun.
Nice.
Terrific.
It's all connected.
Yeah, it all comes full circle.
It really does. When people say that, it's a small world, they're not lying. Like, I'm surprised by how many people know this person and knows this person from over on this side of the country knows this person. It's crazy.
Oh, totally.
It is. We're all connected.
Yes, we're all connected. That's for sure. But yeah, it had to be cool working with Barbara. Man, she's she's a legend, Barbara Crampton, and she never ages. Like she's like still Barbara Crampton from back in the 80s.
I'm convinced she made a pact with the devil.
It could be.
She's gorgeous. It's easy to be that good looking when you're that good looking.
Did you see her? She's doing cosplay as Elvira. Have you seen those pictures?
Yeah.
Yes.
Holy shit.
Everything. She's incredible.
Oh, I loved her as the bride. It's so pretty.
Oh, yeah.
I just love that.
She's the best.
I met her right after, the Jacob's Wife was really, really something she was working on for many years, getting it made. And when I met her after Conjuring 2, I went to a convention and was walking around, and there she was, and I went up and met her, and she said, she told me that from that day she saw me, she said there was nobody else that was going to play that vampire but me.
Wow.
Yeah. So
that's a hell of an endorsement.
Well, she was right, Barbara knows what she's talking about.
Damn right.
Travis said he couldn't put the makeup on anybody else. It would have swallowed them up.
Yeah, you killed it. You were super creepy. You nailed that role. That's for sure.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It was a big honor.
Well, what was that? Sorry.
Thank you. It's such an honor.
Yeah, and it's cool that Shudder picked it up. So now, a lot of people can get to see it. I love how Shudder picks up certain movies and kind of, promotes the shit out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Shudder's the best.
I love Shudder.
Another good app too. I don't know if y'all use is the Arrow Player. Have y'all use that?
What is? I never even heard of it.
Oh, it's Arrow Films. They have their own streaming service now, and they call it the Arrow Player, and it is fucking killer. It's almost up there with Shudder, not quite there, but it's close. But it has more obscure movies from the 70s and 80s, a lot of killer foreign films and stuff that Arrow does, and it's really awesome.
Oh, cool. I'll have to check that out.
Hold on. I think I just heard about this 2 days ago. I read something going Arrow something. Aeroscope? Is that it?
No, it's Arrow Pictures, but the name of the site they use is Arrow Player is the name of the streaming service they use.
Wow. All right.
Yeah, and there's a lot of obscure stuff on there that you haven't seen in years or you never knew existed. I find all kinds of cool hidden gems on there.
Oh, that's really cool. I'm always looking for something new.
Yeah, highly recommend that. I have so many streaming servers, it's not even funny. I'm I don't even know half the shit I have. I'm oh, that's playing on this. I got to get that. I got Epics because of Chapelwaite, and that was well worth it. Chapelwaite was one of the best shows of the year. Have y'all seen that?
No.
No.
Oh shit! It's really good. It takes place before. It's based off a Stephen King short story, and it takes place before Salem's Lot. It takes
Oh my
place
God,
in
I gotta watch.
Jerusalem's Lot.
What's it
Oh,
called? What's the
It's
show?
called Chapelwaite.
I've heard
Yeah,
about it. I've heard good things
I'm
about it.
watching. And do I
Yeah.
love that? I love that. I
And
love.
hey, you just stumped Bonnie on a show, so that's very exciting for you because that's hard to
Yeah,
do.
it's on Epics, by the way. And I think it's like $1 a month for Epics right now. So
I'm watching it.
Adrian Brody is the main like character in there, and
Well,
Adrian Brody's a great actor, and it's good seeing him in like another horror film. So it's really, really, really good. One of the best shows of the year by far.
I know what you're talking about now because with Bleeders Digest, we work with the people from the Boo Crew, and they did a whole thing with him on that show, and they said how amazing it was. So you're the second person I trust that would, yeah. So I'm definitely gonna watch it.
I'm watching that this weekend.
And all the episodes are out now. I think all 10 episodes are out, so you can binge it all and like have a great weekend with that, you know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is there anything y'all recommend that you're watching right now that is pretty cool?
Well, Censor's out. You can watch that. Well, that's been out for a little while, but it's on Hulu now. That is, I would suggest that to people to watch.
Yeah, same here.
Just said in the past, yeah, all of those things.
I mean, there's a bunch of really good new horror films that have come out. I go through phases of watching series, and then I'll just get into watching a ton of films. And I've just been watching a ton of horror films lately. I just watched The Night House, which is really cool.
Oh, that's good.
I haven't
Yeah.
seen that one. I want to see that.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, this film I always recommend that I think a lot of people don't realize how horror based it is this film Spontaneous that I saw this year, that it's about this group of high school kids who this particular class, like kids just start spontaneously combusting and like fully exploding in class, like flesh tissues, disgusting. But like they don't know why. And so kids are just randomly just exploding. And so they're all just waiting to die. And it's done so well and the story's incredible. And I just seriously loved this film. It was, yeah, it should be way, way more notable than it is because it was just done so well. So yeah, if you have a chance to watch that, watch that.
That came out this year?
Yeah, it came out this year or last year, but I watched it this year. So
Sounds super familiar. I keep track of all my movies I watch on the Internet Movie Database app because I watch so much shit. I gotta be like keep track of it in that way. I can rate it and all that stuff. So that one sounds cool if I haven't seen it already. Sounds familiar though.
yeah, it's really good. It's ridiculous. And I think people look at it and they're like, oh, is this like a teenage romantic comedy or something? Because it's kind of the way they package it, which actually makes it cool.
Mhm.
But it's way different than you think it's going to be. It's so good.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna keep that in mind. So yeah, I'm always adding to my list of things I need to watch. That and Night House is. I know Night House is like really close to the top of my list. I just been waiting to get the time to watch it.
Oh, you'll enjoy that.
Yeah. No, there's a bunch. I mean, I thought, yeah, when I saw The Dark and the Wicked, I got pretty scared. And The Lodge blew my mind because there were some things that happened in that film that I've never seen.
Incredible.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love The Dark and the Wicked. I think that was my favorite film of last year when it came out. I was like, holy shit, I love stuff like that. It's so just dark and visceral and just nasty, like, you know.
That'll fuck you up, The Dark and the Wicked.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, it's really creepy.
If I'm not mistaken, that was the same director from The Strangers, am I right?
Yes,
Yeah.
and who obviously I'm a huge fan of. He did another film a few years ago I think it's called like Monster or something, and it was also really great about like the mom and daughter who were in the car and like this monster was like attacking them. Oh, I have to I'm pretty sure it was him, but it was great too. And one of those ones that kind of flew under the radar, but it was really well done.
Yeah, I remember liking that one. I think it's on Netflix still, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think I just saw it again, and I want to revisit it.
Brightburn's another fabulous one. I like that, the originality of it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I would definitely suggest that.
Yeah. Really cool.
Usually on every episode of the podcast, I always plug Mandy because it's my favorite film. But
That's
I
good.
tell people how Mandy's ruined most films for me now. It's so
Yeah,
fucking
good.
good.
No, it was so damn good. I felt like I had a hangover after it.
Oh yeah, Mandy
like, what the
Mandy was
fuck?
insane. It's funny. Like the reason I work with my cinematographer is because of Mandy. For my first short, I had someone else hired. We'd gone through all the pre-production. We had to shoot in less than a week, and he screwed up his schedule, and he basically like bailed on me, which would have blew my entire shoot, all the budget, which is really not a cool thing to do. So I was scrambling, and I had a bunch of people referred to me, and I got this one, Andy Patches, his info and his Instagram and his website and all that. And I'm like, wow, his shit's really cool. And I called him, and the first thing he said is like, my favorite film is Mandy. I'm like, you're hired. 100%. You get it. You get exactly what I don't need to have another conversation with you.
Incredible.
Yeah, and now he does all my films. So yeah,
It's another good series out. If you guys haven't seen it, you ought to watch it, called Marianne. You'd really enjoy this, Krsy. You would too.
Oh, Marianne's Killer. Yeah, that was on Netflix. It's like a French series, I believe, correct?
Oh yes, it's about a writer, Krsy.
Mm-hmm.
It's about a writer who writes about, a horror. So I don't want to tell you anymore, but you ought to watch it. You'll enjoy it.
Okay. Yeah, I'll totally watch it.
Marianne.
Yeah, definitely recommend that one. That's got 2 votes for checking that one out. That one's really killer.
Okay.
But yeah, I used Mandy as a term, like if you're a cool person or not. If you like Mandy or you love Mandy, you're probably gonna be a cool person. If you don't really like Mandy at all, or you hate it, I have to question you.
I just don't understand how someone could not like it or appreciate it. It's so well done. The acting is amazing in it. And it's just visually amazing. But some people passionately are against Mandy, and I'm like, what is wrong with you?
I don't know why. Maybe they visually couldn't watch it.
I mean,
Yeah,
maybe,
possibly.
or maybe it was just too intense, which is fair.
I don't know, maybe visually they couldn't watch it, because I know some people that get very, very affected by, these flashing lights and these, all of that movement, that, all the psychedelic light stuff going on.
Yeah.
It could cause a seizure. I think they had a thing on it of something. There was a warning or something. I don't know what. Somewhere, whatever. If you go into these things, just those lights, and that's why a lot of people can't watch things like that.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people. Probably I know of them because I'm in that age group. No.
Yeah.
But not me. I love it.
Yeah, that blew me away. And I've been trying to, find films that kind of give me that same feeling as of late, but none of them hit that same way. So Panos needs to make another film that way. That can be my next favorite film.
Agreed.
Fried Berry.
Oh, Fried Berry? Yeah, Fried Berry was killer. I remember watching that on, I think Joe Bob had it on.
Oh, I love Joe Bob. Man, that guy is brilliant. But yeah, that's some crazy ass shit.
Yeah, that was a psychedelic trip from hell, right?
Yeah. It was like, oh my God.
Yeah, he's got another one out now. Something to do with a cat person. I saw he was posting about it's starting to hit the festivals now. I don't know if it's like a short film or a full film, but the image that he posted or whatever is like this cat person, and it's pretty terrifying looking.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so I'm down cat and people. Sounds cool.
Yeah,
to me.
ditto.
As long as it's not cats. Yeah, have y'all seen the new Cats?
Oh,
What's
no,
that?
I have not. I said as long as no cats get hurt, that's all that
Oh,
matters.
no. I can't deal with that shit. That's like watching Gummo. I couldn't deal with that shit, man. There's dead cats in the movie Gummo. If y'all have ever seen that, it's rough.
Oh, yeah,
rough.
It was like,
wait a minute.
Midnight Mass. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that scene got me too with all the cats on the beach. I was like, shit, that sucks.
The cat they featured looks just like my cat, and my daughter saw it, and she goes, oh no, why is it the duck eating his neck? And I was like, okay, well, it's not a duck, but yeah, she was very upset, and she like laid with her cat the whole night after that. So I was like, okay, you're not gonna watch Midnight Mass.
Yeah, that was terrifying to me, that cat scene. Great. It was a great series though. I loved it. Fucking phenomenal. But man, those cat scenes in any film or series, or any animal death, I can't deal with. People death, I'm cool with, but animal death is something, I don't know. It gets to me.
Same.
I guess it's because they're so innocent, you know. It is animals. They're animals being animals. They're innocent, you know, born that way. There's no like mean bone in their body really, because they're just animals and they love you, you know.
Exactly. No, it's much worse something happening to an animal than a person.
Yeah.
Bonnie kicks a dog and I live alone, so
Oh,
not
what?
in real life.
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah, I love dogs so much. My dog's passed away, and I can't get over it.
Oh, I had to like ease Bonnie into that. I was like, look, you're gonna in the scene, you have to kick the dog. You're not really gonna kick the dog, but I had to like ease her into it because I was like, oh, this is not gonna go over well with Bonnie.
Yeah, and then I had to go out and find the dog to get used in the movie.
Wow.
He was very good though. He's a very good actor.
Indeed.
Do you have to specially like train animals when you're working with them like that, or I'm sure you
I
probably
mean,
do. If they won't gnaw you to death.
You are supposed to. I think like we got lucky with so in Frank there's a cat and I was actually really stressed out about casting a cat and I was like, okay, because as you know, cats do whatever the hell they want to do and
Yeah.
I have cats, but I was like, they're not going to do what I want them to do. There's zero way. So I was like, but then when I looked at the location, randomly this Bengal lived there and he was like the most social, awesome cat. And I was like, hey, can
Beautiful.
your cat be in the movie? And he was like, yeah, sure. And so I was like, great. Okay, awesome. And the cat was like, nailed it, one take. I was like, okay, this is just way too easy. So yeah, I have to say my experience working with the cat was great. And then the dog was actually more work. Because he just kept wanting to go to his owner and not to Bonnie because obviously she was playing a scary character and I don't know why he would want to run to her. But
He didn't want to hurt anybody. He was very much just his but the dog matched the character. But he just very much his owner's dog, and you know.
Yeah.
So she went
He did good though. We got it. We got the shot. It took a minute, but it worked really well, and so I was happy. I was like, I don't know if this is gonna happen, but it did. So
the Aunt Lena in that film is in I Live Alone. She's pretty wicked. She's really out there. She's something else. This is the woman on a verge. On the verge of no, I couldn't spoil it, but the movie has a huge twist at the ending, which is very refreshing, and everyone will really enjoy it. So, you know, there you go. You've got, you know, you want to see a great Bengal cat and the coolest new monster in town, Frank.
Cats and monsters for the win.
Yes.
Shit crazy. You got to see I Live Alone.
Or to see them both, because Bonnie's in them both, and so it's going to be a fun time.
Yeah.
I totally recommend that.
She's an incredible storyteller. So these films are really beautifully done. The cinematography, the shots. She did an incredible job. The storytelling, it's all magnificent.
Oh, thank you, Bonnie.
To entertain.
I'm looking forward to both of those a lot, especially Frank, because I'm a big monster fan. So
you can watch it.
Yes.
Tonight. You can watch it when we hang up.
I could definitely.
Bonnie's gonna be like writing you like, have you watched it yet? You can't say no to Bonnie.
No, I can't. No, nothing come get me. Like I'll be.
She will.
It's on Amazon Prime. Come on, everyone has Amazon Prime. You can just watch it.
I will make that part of my weekend plans. That's for sure.
It's a goodie. It's a really goodie film. You're good. It's sure to please.
Actually, I'll try to check that out tonight and try to get it in. Try to get a review out for it possibly tomorrow. As long as my cats don't have me preoccupied.
Well, they can be part of it. That's okay. They'll appreciate the other cat in the story.
Well, my black cat Lily usually are part of like the review. She gets beside me and tries to like restrict my usage of my hands when I'm trying to type because you know I got to be petting her instead of fucking typing. So she's all over me when I'm trying to write reviews or whatever, you know. So.
Oh yeah, my cat sleeps on my face. It's like I don't have any free time. I understand.
Yeah, the cats take up the whole bed. Everything is there. So yeah, you know, they own us. They're the owners.
Exactly.
Well, it's been great talking to y'all, man. I really appreciate y'all being on the podcast and talking some killer horror with me. Like, I've got some movies on my list now because of y'all, and yeah.
Thank you so much.
Oh,
Brandon.
yes. Thank you so much. This was so much fun.
Yeah.
And I hope you enjoy the film.
And
Hell
happy
yeah.
Halloween, everyone.
Yes, happy Halloween.
Everybody
yes.
be safe and be crazy.
Yeah. Boo.
Watch out for the nun, y'all.
I'm coming to get y'all.
Y'all have a great one. Have a killer weekend.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.